Hey, Barbie. Can I come to your house tonight?
Sure. Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
Today we're covering 2023 Summer Blockbuster, the Barbie Movie.
It's in time for this summer.
Yes.
Barbie and toy fans have been waiting for this feature film for decades. And it's finally arrived, and I'm a Barbie fan. Margot Robbie plays Barbie, one of many Barbie and Kens, and Allan in the magical Barbieland. Okay, however, when this Barbie starts to malfunction and lose her magic, she heads for the real world to help that girl who plays with her and fix the problem, not the TV show, the real world.
Right. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notifications on future podcasts and all the Paws videos.
Yes. And this is one we've been wanting to cover for a while. We finally got to see it because we didn't go to the theaters. And we'd heard mixed reviews. Most reviews were positive and saying it was fun. And then there were some reviews that were not happy about some of the ideals or agendas, you could say, that were being put forth in the movie. So we wanted to see for ourselves, because there's more than one of us, what we thought of the movie. And personally, we actually liked it.
Yes.
There were a couple of things that we could have done without, but if you scratch off those couple things, the movie is absolutely fun.
Yes, absolutely. And as you said, we were so excited to see this. We just were looking at it with an open mind and prepared just in case there would be some things that were like, oh no, what have you done? And for the most part of the movie, it's fun. It's tongue-in-cheek, not meant to be taken seriously, and you're just kind of laughing. It's sort of like Lego Movie, where it's all these things that you do when you play with the dolls, just played by real people, and it's hilarious.
Yes.
And that's pretty much the charm of, I would say, maybe a big chunk of the movies. Like, yeah, they're toys, they pretend they're the toys, and it's so ridiculous that you can't help but laugh at it.
80% of the movie is fun.
Yes.
It really is. And you're doing a disservice to yourself if you don't watch it. We had heard, again, some of the contradictions and controversy. And at first we were like, maybe we'll pass. But then you kept seeing the commercials and was like, this looks like it's actually fun.
Yeah.
So that plus the cast. So before we even get into more of the details about the movie, let's talk about this cast that they had going. We also have to mention that it's directed by Greta Gerwig from a screenplay she wrote with Noah Baumbach.
Yes.
So, first and foremost, as we mentioned, Margot Robbie, but then we get to... Sorry.
Right.
We get to Ryan Gosling as the Ken.
Yes.
Also known as Beach Ken.
Yes, because his job is beach, not lifeguard. That's two different things. It's beach.
And that was one of the funniest things in the movie. What was brilliant is we've seen Ryan Gosling in La La Land and The Notebook and other movies where he's played serious roles, but this guy can do comedy. It was freaking hilarious. Every time he came on screen, except for during the part after he went to the real world and learned how to be toxic masculinity, he was hilarious. Actually, even then, he was hilarious.
Yeah, still.
He's great. He's been missing his calling for a while. Then we've got, we're going to save the best for last. We've got Simu Liu as another Ken.
Yes.
Or rival Ken.
Rival Ken.
And again, he was in his element. We first learned about Simu Liu from Kim's Convenience.
Yes.
And he was just back in his element, being brilliant.
Yes.
Doing this.
And to tell you, all the girls are Barbies. Every girl's a Barbie. Every woman's Barbie in there. And all the guys are Ken.
Except what?
Right. And it was Barbie or Ken and one other one.
So we had John Cena as Ken Maid, a merman Ken. And we could not believe
what
that.
the heck?
And then you had some other Kens. But the most important Ken, not Ken. Well, we got to also mention Kingsley Ben-Adir as basketball Ken, because that was freaking hilarious.
Yes.
But the main one we have to mention, who's the most lovable all, is Allan.
Hi, Allan. There are no other Allans. It's just one.
Played by Michael Cera. I'll say Margot Robbie. Played by Michael Cera. It was so fantastic because you think when you're looking at the screen, it's Scott Pilgrim. I don't care what his name was. I don't care how he was dressed. I don't care what he was doing in this movie. All you thought was Scott Pilgrim. And then in one scene, there was a shout out to Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
Because he was the only Ken that could kick butt.
Yes.
And he was kicking all the other Kens.
Yeah, because they were pushing him around, and he was like, I can't take this anymore. This should be worse than the Barbies. And then he just snaps and starts beating them up and kicking and kung fu, and they're like, oh, he turned to Scott Pilgrim. And Mom has said, hey, how come you didn't just call him Scott?
And what was really interesting is we did not know, and I'm a big Barbie fan. I played with Barbies. When I was a kid, I still have some of my Barbies from childhood, but I didn't know there was an Allan because he came out in the
60s, I think.
The
50s
or late 50s? No, it was 50s.
50s, yeah.
And there was only one Allan.
Literally, yes.
And he was Ken's friend. And then at some point, he got taken off the market. So
yeah.
We thought it was a joke, and then we learned in a documentary, oh my gosh. No, actually, on the special feature.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Allan was real?
Yes.
And they had Michael Cera dressed exactly like the doll.
Yes.
It was hilarious.
And what's even funnier is that the doll went from being like discontinued and not liked, and he's supposed to be Ken's best friend and no one cared. Now after this movie, everyone wants an Allan doll.
Yes, because the movie did it. Absolutely.
Yes, because it's like, oh, I want an Allan now, because Allan was the best.
Yes, and it's going to be later on another collectible when people don't have it anymore, because it's going to happen.
Right.
So quickly, I'll go through a little more of the cats that we shed. It had Kate McKinnon, Issa Rae, Alexandra Shipp, Dua Lipa, and I was very surprised she was Mermaid Barbie. And we had, we did mention John Cena, Will Ferrell.
Yes, as the Mattel CEO.
Oh, just call him
Lord Business.
Yes, Lord Business, that's what he was. Helen Mirren was the narrator, and she did great. She was perfect. I don't think you could have chosen anyone better. You also had Rhea Perlman, who played the founder of Barbie, and I'm guessing probably she's passed.
Maybe.
Yeah, she passed in 2002. So they had her portray her in the movie. And let's see, most notable, those were, I'm sorry, there were a whole lot of other people in it.
Lots of people, yeah.
For us. And the movie starts out so brilliantly. It's just fun. For the first 30 minutes, it's nothing but a bunch of adults having fun pretending to be Kens and Barbies.
Yes.
And you get pulled into their world, and you're laughing and having the best time for the first 30 minutes. It's nothing but absolute fun.
Yes. And you kind of get a little thing with Ken being sort of dumb, but you knew it was going to come in a movie like this, so you just kind of, but it's written so well, you didn't mind. It's absolutely hilarious, especially all his dialogue about beach. And he got hit by a wave that doesn't move. He just kind of got like punctured by a wave. I don't know how that happened. And then because at a certain point in the movie they're doing this sort of dance party. Suddenly Barbie says, anyone thought about no longer living? And everything stops. And it's like, oh, what was that about? They cover it up, and then she kind of notices that things have been happening differently. Like she's losing her Barbie magic. Like she doesn't stand on her tiptoes anymore. The fake water that's not there is no longer hot. The milk that's not there is gone sour. The toast that isn't there is burned. And they have this thing in here where they establish she's connected to a certain girl who played with her. And whatever that girl is feeling is what Barbie is feeling. And this girl is not thinking the most positive things. And it's like, oh gosh, what the heck's happening with her? So they tell her to fix it. She has to go to the real world and find out what's the problem and how to solve it. And she gets to the real world along with Ken, who just kind of sneaks in. And at first, it's hilarious because they stick out in these 80s roller skates and horribly color clashing outfits. And as soon as she gets there, the first thing that happens is that guys start hitting on her.
No, they're not hitting on her. They're being
stereotype
toxic male saying things that are just inappropriate.
And having construction workers.
Like construction workers. And it's an extreme version of what would happen.
Yeah, and then...
And I guess they're going back to the 80s, maybe.
Yeah, I guess so.
Of the people.
And then, and mind you, this is still taking place in modern day. And maybe if this were a different time period, it would have worked. But, that's what happens. And then, slowly the movie starts changing its tone.
So that's what you got way ahead of me, but yes. What's the standout about this movie are two things. One, it's the first live action movie ever for Barbie.
Yes.
And in it she has an existential crisis, which is what it's called with all this crap happening.
Yeah.
But you forgot to mention how they got from Barbieland to the real world.
Oh, they went
through all these modes of transportation.
Yes.
And before she left, she said she was going by herself, so she was driving her Barbie car.
You're right.
And then Beach Ken
hid
in the back of the car and popped up and scared her, and she ran off the road.
Yeah.
Would you need me with you because you may encounter Beach? She said, yeah, that's true. Okay, you can come. So as they take each mode of transportation that's different, their outfits change to match the transportation.
Yes. They have
a
car. They had the boat. They had
a rocket.
Yes, a rocket ship, an RV, the ATV, and ski, and then they finish on roller skates.
That was hilarious.
And
outfits changed for everyone, like they were the Ken and Barbie for each type of vehicle.
And then when they get there, they are actually in the country of California.
Yes.
And they're on the beach. They're Los Angeles Beach. See? I told you there was beach here. Oh, you were right.
And he was right. So she gets there. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know whom to talk to. And what was really odd is Ken suddenly wants to go to a library because he was told about libraries and read about men.
Yeah.
And then they told him about the patriarchy. That's what he wants to learn about.
Yeah.
And so he goes to the library to do that. And then Barbie's looking for
the girl
that had the issue. Where the girl that had the issue was the daughter of someone who loved Barbies as a girl and as an adult. Now, when the girl was younger, she played Barbies with her mom, but suddenly she had an existential crisis, and she got jaded and anarchic and just a horrible attitude, and she gave away all her Barbies. When you first see it in the movie, you think the mom made her do it, but you learn later,
sometime in the movie,
that she gave them away because she didn't want them anymore. The mom still loved Barbies. The mom was played by America Ferrera.
Mm-hmm.
And so Barbie ends up helping the mom rather than the daughter because the daughter's a snot. There's no other way to put it. And so she ends up helping the mom, who's been drawing all these weird drawings that show Barbie in these predicaments, and some violent,
and dark,
some crazy.
And she's kind of thinking about doing things to herself, and it's like, I guess this was the dark humor in here. We had weird Barbie, so here's the weird dark humor. Yeah.
And so Barbie ends up helping her and not the daughter. The daughter really can't be helped. Sorry.
Right, yeah, she stays the same the whole
movie. Throughout the movie. She doesn't have character development. She doesn't have an epiphany. She doesn't do anything except for at least begin to treat her mom better.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that I saw that she improved at.
Yeah.
But
there
were little points in the movie where statements were made that you either agree with or you don't. But you move past them and you keep enjoying the parts of the movie that are enjoyable. There's one soliloquy that America Ferrera's character does, and she talks about, her name's Gloria, and she talks about women and how they're expected to put on these hats and do all these different roles. I personally could see that, and it made sense to me. Mm-hmm. But there were other things that were said in the movie, and there were two others that I just didn't agree with. But that one, I did see that, and I could relate to that, and I could see other women who've experienced that, as well as myself in some instances. So to me, that was the only part of the movie that really made a valid point, and that definitely many women could relate to.
Yeah.
Especially women who play with Barbie.
Right.
So getting past that, you get to a resolution that's also odd, but we'll wait on that a little bit. So Ken learns about the patriarchy, and then Will Ferrell would just say, wants them taken back to Barbieland so that things do not change in the world. He doesn't want little girls to stop playing with Barbies and Kens. He doesn't want the dynamics of Ken and Barbie as he has set them up and has been set up by the company. And yes, Mattel is poking fun at themselves to change. So they trick Barbie into getting into this giant life-size Barbie doll package that you used to get them in the store in. And Ken willingly goes back, and they go back to Barbieland. And then that's when things start taking, in some instances, a hilarious turn, in some instances, offensive turn.
Yeah. And this is when it starts to really become divisive, and you could kind of start seeing why there were some criticisms for the film. Up until maybe an hour and 20 minutes in, it's just all laughs. Even with the stereotype stuff, it's like, okay, you don't take it seriously. They're just kind of exaggerating like they've been doing. But as it gets past that point, it stops exaggerating and starts taking these things seriously. Like, at first making fun of guys being like this, to like, no, this is how they think guys are, period. How you play with Barbies is incorrect. Don't play with Ken, only Barbie. Girls' night every night, which I don't think was done all the time. In the beginning,
that was fun.
Yeah.
In the beginning, that was hilarious, because when you mentioned it, we have to say it. She was having a Barbie, and she said, Barbie now with all the girls, and then Ken said, Beach Ken. He said, I think I want to stay over. She says, why? I don't know.
Just supposed to, right? What do we do?
Like, okay, but it's girls' night, you can stay, but you don't have to.
Yeah. I was like, okay then.
And yeah, it started taking a weird turn right at that point, but continue.
Right, and yeah, it started from being poking fun, exaggerating, tongue-in-cheek, to actually, no, this is the way we say it is, and like I said, the guys all being really toxic for no reason, except for Allan, who's perfect. The Kens are too masculine. Barbie should not date Kens if they don't want to, and really none of them should be dating each other. Basically telling the audience you play with Barbie's wrong because you kept forcing Ken into the story, even though I'm pretty sure it's not what they did. Then they had this whole spiel that they almost made true, where Barbie was too stereotype of a woman, and then it's like, okay, where's the joke in here? And then you start realizing they're not joking. They're actually starting to be serious with some of this, and I think they went a little too much into that direction. They should have just stayed at being tongue-in-cheek and making fun of it. When it was doing that, that's when it was strong. If you weren't taking anything serious, like watching Lego Movie and stuff, you knew it was a joke. But I think that's how it should have stayed the whole time, because it veered a little too much to a point where it started to affect a little bit of the viewing, and then when they stopped being as funny to deliver these messages, as jokes started getting fewer and fewer, unless you're dealing with the Kens War, you start not to have so much humor in it, up to the point where it's supposed to have a really deep message at the end, and it's like, it went a whole nother direction by the time you get to the end of the film.
But I'm happy to say that it really doesn't affect very much your enjoyment of this movie.
Right.
It's just that good. And I can see why it was a blockbuster over the summer. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was just well done. It had a budget of between 128 and 145 million. And it made over 1.44 billion dollars.
Wow, this was
taken
success.
out of theaters and made available digitally, and then available on DVD.
Right. And now you can see this anytime, anywhere, physically or by streaming. And I think that's a great thing. They made it available to a lot more people, since it's slowly beginning to go back to stuff being available only in theaters and not the simultaneous releases. And definitely give it a watch when you have a chance, because it is hilarious. And I even like when they have the end credits and they have all the dolls that were supposed to be portrayed by the actors. All the dolls, the real dolls, are at the end credits. So you get to see what they actually look like, and then their little animated updates.
Now, also in the beginning, we forgot to mention, in the beginning of the movie, you have all these little girls, and they're dressed in 50s clothing, because that's when the doll was created. And they have the music, and I don't remember the name of the piece of music, but whenever in the older movies they were doing where there was a landing on the moon, is doom, doom, yes,
yeah,
and they were playing with baby dolls, and then suddenly there was a Barbie doll, and they want to play with baby dolls anymore, so they destroy the baby dolls to the Barbie dolls, and the movie starts. Well, that kind of had a valid thing, because until Barbie came along, all the little girls were supposed to just play with the dolls and grow up to be moms. And I do remember I had a baby doll, and I was fine playing with her until this doll actually pooped, and I don't want to play with the doll anymore.
right.
And then I stuck with my Barbie. So I like that now, from the time that Barbie's created until now, anyone who wants to play with a doll can play with a doll, and
right.
they have many choices of the type of dolls they can play with.
Yes.
Because Barbie leaves a vast number of choices, whether you're a collector or you want to take them out of the package and play with them or destroy them, or like with Kate McKinnon, she was
the weird Barbie.
Weird Barbie. We forgot to mention she was weird Barbie.
She was just like horribly treated.
You have that option as well to do that. And that opening was brilliant, because at first we're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
The way it ends is really strange. If you haven't seen it, spoiler alert. At the end, Barbie decides she wants to be human, because Rhea Perlman's character, who's playing the creator, tells her you can be whatever you want to be. She tells her that I named Barbie and Ken after my children, which we learned in the documentary as well. And she said you can be what you want to be. So Barbie decided she wanted to be human and not a doll anymore. So basically she ends up leaving Barbieland. And I don't know if this is able to even have a 2 based on this.
They said, yeah.
But the way that it ends was absolutely hilarious, because she's dressed in a suit and she walks up to this desk and you don't know where she is, and she says, "Hi, I'm here for my gynecologist appointment." And I was like, oh my gosh, Barbie's going to run back to Barbieland. She'll never want to be a woman ever again. The ending was brilliant. It was hilarious.
God.
And she's so excited and happy because she has no idea
what it is. Yeah.
But this movie is great. It's fantastic. Even with the things you don't care for as much in it, it's still so brilliantly written. And the actors were fantastic. Every actor in here did a wonderful job. There was not one actor who did a bad job.
Yeah.
Not one. And that is miraculous.
Yes.
You couldn't pick anyone and go, oh, this person should have been in here, or this Barbie they could have done without it. It was actually fun seeing. They had, and also at the beginning of the movie, they were showing a lot of the Barbies down through history, the actual dolls. And then, of course, you got to see human versions, and that was fun. Every time you would see a Barbie, I was trying to tell, okay, that's so-and-so Barbie, that's so-and-so. So, oh, I had that Barbie, and it's fun. So, if you're a Barbie fan, or you play with Barbie, or you collect Barbies, this movie's for you. And if you're not, it's still a whole lot of fun. And if you hate Barbie, you can make fun of Barbie with the rest of the jokes and things in the movie. This movie was written and made for anybody on earth to enjoy.
Right, you know, I played with Barbies once or twice. I had, what they had in there was like, oh, if someone hates Barbie, well, there's just despicable people. Like, well, no, they just probably just want to play with them. I just made up my own thing with Barbie. I had a Dino Rancher Barbie. She had the dinosaurs.
Maybe they're listening to this and they'll have an idea for it. And I remember once I made a joke, and I said, the only Barbie they've never had is Streetwalker Barbie. And then we saw a documentary, and one of the first Barbies actually was a Barbie of the night, and I almost passed out. When I saw it, I said, oh my gosh, they actually had Streetwalker Barbie. Are you kidding? And they showed it in black and white, and she had on an outfit, and she was standing under a street lamp, and the creator said, that's what she actually was going to be. And I said, what the heck, are you kidding me? And they scrapped the name and just change it to Barbie.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you've got to be kidding me. But it's just so much fun. You got to see it. If you haven't, you're missing out. And if anyone's listening who just didn't like the movie, we're okay with that. We're not sure why. If you want to tell us it below in the comments, we'd love to hear. But it's just a great movie. And I can't believe that I loved it so much.
Yes.
So, if you've seen Barbie, we're calling Barbie 2023 or Barbie Movie, let us know in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was mid? Did you think it was just a marketing ploy? Let us know what you think. And again, if you haven't seen it, it's available everywhere, in every square, every form, but you can only stream it on Max.
Yes. Or Prime if you want to rent it.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to pay, see it for free, you can only see it free on Max. Everywhere else, you gotta pay.
Right. $1.
$1. You gotta play $1 to see it.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates with the video's favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely. And want to say a shout out to Shinigami Phoenix. He said you really should try it. I know you'll love it, and you were absolutely right. So thank you so much as usual.
Yes. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace and love out.